I like it. Oh, shit.
April 30th at 4:30 PM, and the first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of minutes from April 16th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll pass on that.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One abstention. Approval of non-public minutes, April 16th, 2024, made public.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public minutes made public.
I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One abstention.
Because you weren't at the meeting, you have to say why, right? So that's the reason.
Yes, I was not at the meeting. I was far, far away.
All right. Approval of manifest, payroll $30,863.21. Payroll liabilities $9,659.64. Accounts payable $57,813.68. $250,000 to Madison Elementary School for a total of $348,336.53.
I'll make a motion to accept the manifest.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public comment?
Hi, thank you for receiving my comment. Just a suggestion.
Can you state your name for the camera, please?
Say your name.
What?
You have to say your name.
Oh, Donna Vayu,
Thank
sorry. The other day, I asked that a document be placed in the mailbox at the entryway by Mr. Brooks. And he did so indicate that he did place that there. I went to go pick it up, and it wasn't there. I thought maybe he forgot. Who doesn't forget? Excuse me. And I contacted him, and he said he put it there. And he thought it was stolen. And there were 3 other envelopes there. It was a fire permit. Excuse me. A fire permit for burning brush with our name on it, our address, and apparently it got stolen. So I would ask you guys to maybe think about the mailbox. And I asked him if there was a camera there, and he said no. Maybe you want to put a camera there? And I asked him to, well, Michael asked him to make a police report. And did you receive a police report?
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Oh, there you go. So my suggestion is a document was stolen from that mailbox with my name on it, our names on it, and I would ask you to consider either removing the mailbox, putting a camera there. I think the mailbox is a creation of COVID. Is that correct?
No, it's been there for
It's
years.
been there for a long time. My assumption is it wasn't stolen. It was more than likely grabbed by mistake with somebody else's documents, but nonetheless, we will look into it.
It wasn't in an envelope, it was just a fire permit with our names on it. So anyway, food for thought.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none. First discussion item, Marcy and Jim Shackford, pool building permit.
Right. We're just curious as to, it's not on the permit itself, so we had to scratch out deck and something
Yeah,
else.
just the thing.
Because you do it by the square footage.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter the size of the pool, I guess, as far as depth wise. it's only for the square footage. Is that
Correct.
The fee, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could build a pool at 50 feet deep. Probably would need a lot more, instructions or whatever, I guess. I'm just curious as to how you came up with that.
Well, right now, there's nothing on the ordinance as far as pools go, and in order to add something to that ordinance, we'd have to take it to town meeting, but we can certainly look into it.
Okay.
I don't see
Yeah,
a reason not to add it.
onto the form itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, for this particular case, you scratch out deck or whatever, just add pool.
Mhm.
That's, we can
So-
always add it officially later.
Yeah, so then, like, the question was that it's considered, I think it's 35 cents a square foot for the pool, but it's a non-occupiable structure. It just felt, so ours came to $224 for an above-ground pool, just felt like, seems like it's a large, it doesn't require plumbing, it didn't require any additional electrical. So we were just wondering if I don't know how that process works, but if there'd be consideration of maybe a standard fee, a pool fee, something like that, that it just seems like kind of to put it in that category just really seems like a lot.
Does,
We can certainly look into a standard fee when we put it on the ordinance. I mean, as of right now, we charge 35 cents a square foot to cover what we need for inspections, because regardless, I think it still needs to be inspected.
what does it need to be inspected for, just out of curiosity?
Well, there's a New Hampshire pool and spa code,
Okay.
and that's, we were talking earlier about. I've only issued, I think, one permit for a swimming pool since
Okay.
I started. That was a few years ago. So there is a New Hampshire pool and spa code. I went looking into it more after we talked the other day, because I wasn't sure exactly how it worked. It does require that, well, let me back it up. In Madison, building permits are required for any structures.
Yep.
There are some listed that are exceptions, but other than that, it needs structures. So then I look to see, does it fit under a structure? And pretty much in the structure definition, anything created, man-made, campus, mountain, doesn't matter, is a structure. So technically you need a building permit. And then the New Hampshire building, pool and spa code, it says you have to file for a permit. If electrical, plumbing, gas, that stuff, you have to get permits for those. So
Right.
same thing we talked about.
Yeah, yeah.
The rate part, it doesn't address rates, those are set by towns. And as Adam just said, that we would have to create, I think, some kind of change in the ordinance to officially put something on the actual form and discuss rates, I guess. Right now, I think we're stuck with that rate.
Yeah.
And it is square footage, that's just
Is that what it is? That's
how long
not
the building permits are based.
So it could
It's not
be-
cubic footage.
it could be 1,000 gallons or 100,000 gallons.
Right, it's based on,
Gotcha.
we talk about footprint, it's basically looking at it from the sky down,
Yep.
which is square footage is. I think it's 16 by 20, I think is what you have,
Yeah.
something like that.
But,
Yeah,
but looking at the permit, where it doesn't say pool, it doesn't say that we charge a fee for pools. It's not documented anywhere that we would charge a fee.
We charge
Pools.
fees for structures in
building
general.
permits for structures, and this would count as a structure.
Because we don't specify, we say dwellings and additions and porches and decks and garages, sheds and barns, but it doesn't qualify as any of those.
True.
I mean, if we're gonna update the ordinance.
That's the form
So,
right here, so I
we
don't,
don't,
yeah.
I mean, according to the form, we don't charge at all for pools.
That on the form, there's probably a lot of different structures that aren't listed there specifically that we would, like greenhouses. Those are structures. We don't list greenhouses. I think if we tried to list every
Yeah.
single type of structure, we'd have a very long list. But you're right, it's not
not,
listed on the
yeah.
page.
Yeah.
We could correct that with another. When we make a change to the ordinance, maybe we just put a line for other, something like that.
But it kind of falls under the definition of a structure, which is in our code. That essentially is anything of any material, portable or fixed to the ground. Either permanent or temporary construction. And I think above ground pool falls.
I mean, I'm not disputing the fact that a building permit,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm disputing the fact that
It's 200 some odd
it's
dollars.
220 for, I realize you have to come inspect, but I'm not exactly sure what we're just
When do you
building
have to
something
come
on top,
inspect?
yeah,
Yes.
we're
I
building
guess that's
something
the
on
other
top of
thing.
the
For
ground.
that type of pool, probably once you have it in place, come out and look at it. And I'm not familiar with all the code requirements yet, because I've had one in 10 years.
Oh, right, yeah.
I
Oh, that's
wonder
good.
how many pools are in the town of Madison with only
No
one
idea.
permit.
No idea. There's probably many before I started, and there may
Yeah.
have been some sneaked in since I started.
Yeah.
Like we talked about the other day, if somebody puts a small pool in their backyard behind the house and I don't know about it.
Yeah, right, no, right,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
It's not that it's okay, but I just don't know, can't deal with it if I don't know about it.
And then the New Hampshire code, I was only able to find public pools.
There's a public section,
Yeah.
there's also others.
I
If
didn't
you look
see
at the
residential.
packet of information I gave
Yeah.
Linda, you will see in there,
Yeah, this, I think this is from like the International Building Code or
yeah,
ISPSC, so that's what New Hampshire has adopted as the building code. for
well,
pools.
there's the international codes, and then there's New Hampshire Pool and Spa Code, which the title, I think it's at the top of those pages I made for you. That's where I got this information, was on that one. So it talks about when permits are required, applications for permits and so forth.
So we can't do anything about the ordinance here tonight. It would have to be done at town meeting, but this board does have the authority to waive all or a portion of that fee if it's so inclined. Is that something either of you are interested in doing tonight?
Yeah, I think until we have something in place specifically for pools, that it's very clear that what we're talking about, I think we should wait until next year to charge fees for it.
I don't think we can go completely free. We do have to send an employee out there to inspect, and it does have to be reported to assessing, so we have to charge something.
So the
Right.
basic fees are, sorry, go ahead.
I have no, desire to charge $224 or whatever, it doesn't matter to me what the fee is. You're right, though, there's time involved in reviewing the permit application process, going out and doing inspections, so that's gotta be considered. But as far as the amount of the fee, I couldn't care less what it is.
So we have the driveway permit is 40, electrical 50, plumbing 50, gas 50, remodeling and renovations 50. Do we want to go with 50?
What are we doing for electrical?
We have an outlet.
We have an outlet
existing.
outside, and it plugs into the outlet.
It was put in by an electrician?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that would.
Because that's the thing that worries me, is the electrical and water combined.
It's a GFI outlet.
Okay.
That was my first question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says the minimum building permit fee is $50. So.
Well, Joy, you are welcome to make a motion to reduce this fee to $50 if you'd like.
Yeah, I will make a motion to reduce this fee to $50.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So the question I would have, I guess, talk about being consistent with pool applications that may get in the future. Is this something we're gonna have to decide this on case by case?
I think we have to until we change the ordinance.
Okay. So,
Yeah, and the ordinance should reflect either in-ground or above ground.
So we'll have to take a look at the ordinance before next year's meeting.
yeah, because the pool I did a permit for before was an in-ground pool, much larger. This is a much smaller pool above ground with less complications.
Yep.
So I just want to be consistent whenever
Yep.
I'm enforcing it, so.
I think for the time being, we deal with it case by case, and then the next town meeting, we'll have a clear idea of where we're going.
Good.
We would also take a look at things like fencing and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. I'm not sure, like I said, with the codes, whether there may be differences in fencing for an in-ground pool, which somebody could walk across ground and fall into, versus this one, you would have to jump up into it and get into it. So I don't
This-
know.
Well,
The
that's
structure comes
steps.
with the
With
fence.
fencing all the way
And
out.
it's got
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
like
it's a
that.
one piece.
Yeah, some of the above grounds have steps that you can fold up
Yep.
so that a kid can't go up the stairs. I'm good.
All right?
Great,
Thank
thank you
you.
for hearing us out.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, the only question I have, is it something we should be doing in non-public? Because it's invading.
No, but it's not an abatement for assistance with taxes, like
Okay.
to help pay taxes, so they're okay.
Fair enough. Clifford abatement. I don't believe there's anybody here for this one, right? Taxpayers requesting abatement for tax year 2022. Basically, they missed the deadline for abatement for 2022 taxes, even though they do have good cause for abatement.
And so
Yeah.
is the, sorry, go ahead.
This is the one with water damage.
Yes, I believe so.
So they granted an abatement, the assessor granted an abatement for 1 year. The question is the year before that.
Correct, because they didn't file for the abatement within the appropriate time frame for the prior year, and no one was aware that the house was in the condition it was in. My recommendation, along with this letter, would be to deny just based on setting precedent for missing deadlines.
And it is a deadline set by the state that is really like, you can't change that.
So there was an assessment done in 2022? Is that?
The assessment was done in 2023, after contacted by the owner.
So like,
Oh,
if I'm thinking it correctly, the 2022 opportunity for an abatement had passed. He brought it to the attention, I want to say of me, I brought it to Chad, the assessor, who went out, looked at the property and adjusted it for the 2023 tax year. So his 2023 taxes were based on the correct amount, but he filed an abatement for 2023 asking to get the 2022 abatement. But he had missed the deadline to have done anything for that in 2022.
so the assessment will be correct going forward. He missed the deadline for 2022.
And it was for 2023.
Did he make the deadline for 2023?
He did.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was too,
So it's a single year in question.
and basically we're being asked to kind of change the rules.
We all know how much you love rules, Joy.
Is it that obvious?
I would be inclined not to go back to year 2022.
Do I hear a motion to deny?
Motion to deny?
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Fair enough. Madison School Board is looking to schedule one of our 2 meetings per year. Is that something this board still would like to do?
Yes, I would.
Is there a specific date, month, time frame anybody's looking for?
They want it to be, they didn't recommend a time, whether or not it would be.
They requested that we propose a date.
Okay. They meet once a month on Mondays, I think.
Pretty sure it's the first Monday, isn't it?
First Monday of every month. I would recommend a July or August meeting.
When was the last one?
April 1st.
Oh,
No.
okay.
November.
Oh,
November?
our last one, November.
Yeah.
With them?
Did,
November?
did you meet at the school board or did you guys have your own meeting that time?
I think it was one of their regularly
It
scheduled.
was one of their meetings, but I don't know if we sat in for the whole meeting.
I don't recall.
I think it was separate of their meeting.
I think that's right.
Huh?
I think you're right. So if it was November, do we want to do it every 6 months, or well, that would be too soon. Well, we'd have to meet with them next
We could-
week, or do June.
You can do June, but I won't be there on the 3rd,
Okay.
if that's their meeting date, unless you wanna do it before or after one of our meetings. Keep one here and one there. Neutral site, no
Yeah,
fights.
yeah, because we had our last meeting there, we could have one here.
So our meeting in June would be on
The 11th and the 25th.
the 11th, so do we want to schedule it on the 11th, directly following our meeting? Do our best to keep our own agenda short that night.
What time? 6?
6?
Yeah.
I think we can fit it.
Yeah, June 11th at 6.
Okay, I can propose that. Here at 6 o'clock.
Lead Mine Road berm. Basically, this board needs to decide if we want to allow the berm to go up again this winter. Anything you'd like to say, Donna,
No, I'd be happy to
or
speak.
Mike?
I think it's the law. I think you had a determination by town attorney back in 2021 that the berm is illegal. Cut and dry, to me, you can't berm a class 5 or 6 road. To give permission to an independent group, nothing against snowmobiles, they have their trail, but I don't believe you can berm the road in any way, shape, or fashion.
And I would like to make a request that you share that second legal opinion with us. I think one member on this board thought the last legal opinion should be shared with us. It's taxpayer money that paid for this legal opinion, and we would respectfully request that you share that opinion with us. And I would request a vote on that. And I would also like to know how much it costs. And did that money come from the police department or from the budget or from the selectmen's budget?
The money for what?
The legal opinion, the second one. Because I believe it was the chief of police who requested the opinion.
It'll come out of the legal line for town council is 500, the amount we spend for a retainer each month. It'll be included in the $500 that we pay him to have him at our disposal. There's no specific bill to that document.
Okay.
Is there any money left to the retainer? I think it's probably been tapped quite a bit.
I think we're good for now.
Well, anyway, we would request that that opinion be shared with us and the public.
Anybody have an opinion on sharing this?
We have attorney-client privilege.
Can I ask then, did it change from what it was in 2021? We paid for an opinion in 2021, and as a result, a letter was sent to the local snowmobile organization to discontinue berming the road, and it stopped. And then it came back, and then a new opinion went out. We just want the law to be followed.
So, are you saying you're not gonna share the opinion with us?
I won't vote to do it.
Pardon me?
I won't vote to do it.
Can we
May I ask?
summarize it? Can we?
May I ask the board to vote on it?
Sure, ask anything you want.
Can we at least
I have
provide
mixed
us-
feelings about this whole thing. We take that berm out of there, like we did a couple years back, I believe we took a berm out of there. We ended up with people trying to go down that road in the middle of the winter. And then that causes a safety issue, because part of this, as I read it, we have safety issues. And I'm big on safety. People are nutty enough to try to go down that road, and that road is not in the best of condition in July, much less January. So that's my personal feeling. I'm not speaking for the board.
My understanding, based on the previous opinion and reading the regulations, is that it's illegal, plain and simple, per New Hampshire law, to obstruct a road. And it's against Madison's highway regulations to obstruct a road, even with, snow or otherwise. So I think plain and simple, it is against law and Madison regulations to obstruct the road. If we want to get into the specifics of ski mobile safety, I recommend signage, like they have at all the other junctions. And if bringing up safety, I think it's a matter of safety to have a road obstructed. Because we've had a couple of ski mobile accidents this past season. We had some fatal accidents in the area. If safety vehicles can't get to someone because a road is obstructed, that's a safety issue.
Chief, do you have an opinion on the matter?
We did have another vehicle try to make it through Lead Mine Road this year. They didn't make it. So, I think it's a question of consistency more than anything else, because regardless of the barricade status on Lead Mine Road, you've got another road in town that's barricaded the same, well, not the same way, but it's barricaded every year too. And I believe that removing the barricade from that road would create much more of a significant safety issue than having the barricade there, which is Glines Hill. The berm in and of itself, I've been out to look at it before. It seems rather inconsequential to me as far as being an actual articulable safety issue. And I don't think the attorney's opinion was because it was a safety issue. It was a literal translation of what the statute and the town ordinance reads. However, it did provide room for selectmen discretion on whether or not it's going to be allowed, regardless of what the law is. So I would agree that signage needs to be improved tenfold on Lead Mine Road, because there is very little signage out there right now that says that you cannot travel this road in the winter with a conventional motor vehicle. So regardless of what we do, you are going to bring into question Glines Hill, and I'm sure Josh can speak probably more about that. And we do definitely need signage. So.
Mr. Kirby?
David Kirby with the Scrub Oak Scramblers. So the chief brought up the first point I was going to bring up is Glines Hill. That actually has concrete jersey barriers, not a snow berm. The snow berm that is constructed out there is not much different than what you could see on many portions of the roads around town that are not maintained in the winter. Another perfect example would be the end of Boulder Road. There's a very large pile of snow that is totally unmountable down there, where this snow berm on Lead Mine Road is absolutely mountable. It is absolutely used by safety officials around town. We have the access of a four-wheeler with tracks with a snowbulance that the Scrub Oak Scramblers made a considerable donation towards that snowbulance that they can pull behind the tracked four-wheeler. That tracked four-wheeler would not make it through many of the other locations in town. So you'd be setting an extremely, I think, expensive precedent if anything was to be done here, because you would need to then not have berms on any of these other roads around town that are currently just plowed to an end and stopped. where what we're doing is actually building a mountable berm that a rescue piece of apparatus can get over as long as it's designed to go on a snowmobile trail. We're talking about a snowmobile trail, and snowmobile trails, unless they are designated as a dual-use trail, which is what a portion of Lead Mine Road is, you cannot allow vehicles to travel on there that are not snowmobiles on an area that is not designated as a dual-use trail. So you're talking about potentially making it a safety hazard that then at that point fishing game is going to get involved, and they're going to be having to find people that are now using a road that is not legal for them to use because it's not a dual-use trail.
To
What's
me, the
not-
law is crystal clear that, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead, George.
No, what's not a dual-use trail?
From the berm to the power line where we turn to go off the power line, that is not a dual-use trail. That portion is a snowmobile trail. The dual use is from the access road that the Vayus use to get to their property. From there back to Blackbrook is dual use.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to picture it. So is it a portion of lead mine that you're saying is not dual use in snowmobile?
During snowmobile season is an unmaintained road.
That's not the way I read the documents and read the regulations, is that it is, my understanding is that it is required to be maintained in the winter, that it was at one point optional, but now it is required to be maintained, all of lead mine. And that is a road.
There is nothing to that effect.
I'll look through it again and pull that up.
Sure.
It's under the snowmobile regulation is where it addresses that portion of the road. It is a separate,
I also have photos of the berm, if you'd like.
But the snowmobile regulation is secondary to the law.
well, and that's the problem that I raised 3 years ago, is that there is a conflict
Yeah.
with the law and the ordinances. That is correct.
My concern is butting heads with the law, with, again, me and my rules, is that we are effectively allowing breakage of a law and risking anything that results as part of that.
The law is also crystal clear on that has to be available for fire, rescue, etc., emergency vehicles, conventional emergency vehicles, not just for special apparatus. So again, that would be a violation of state law if we allow a berm to go up. I respect the snowmobilers' use, signage, honor the trails, ask people to honor the trail, but keep that road available to get through in inclement weather. The actual use of the trail, if we're talking 16, 17 weeks, a good winter, you might get 8 weeks of use, which would be great. This past winter, you might have gotten 5 weeks of use.
More like 5 days.
It was not, and you can't predict the winter, but the bottom line is, I think we need, in terms of liability, you stand on the side of the law, the trail, and adequate signage that this is a snowmobile trail. Please honor it. Most of the people who got stuck up there, I know because I helped a number of them out. The GPS tells them that's the best way to go. They ignore the sign and they go. So I don't
So
know if you can do
regardless
anything
of the
about GPS.
regardless of the berm, that portion of the road isn't passable by emergency vehicles anyway.
Well, and there's a bit of a conflation here. There is no, it doesn't spell out that it has to be accessed by a conventional rescue vehicle. It just has to be able to be accessed by a rescue vehicle. So the only conventional part is with a regular motor vehicle. The conventional motor vehicles are prohibited during the winter months. But it does not have that stipulation for emergency vehicles.
I think that term is unrestricted.
Correct, but again, it doesn't specify the vehicle is my
It's
point.
restricting
So-
it. The berm was 4 feet tall. You can't get over with any type of vehicle other than a special apparatus. So if somebody's in dire situation, 2 snowmobiles collide, you're gonna really compromise time by a snow berm that should not legally be there. To me, sign it as much as you need to and
But
let the
who removes the
snowmobiles
snow?
go.
Who removes the snow? Because the next question is gonna be, when are you gonna plow it?
it doesn't get plowed. It's
It's a
there
road to
are-
summer cottage.
Of the 17 weeks, there's probably, I'm gonna say 10 of them, people with four-wheel drive pickups go over it all the time. Usually when the snow machine season is available, they stop. The only one who go up there is somebody on a GPS that gets misinformation. It's sometimes a Buick. They get stuck backing out. It can be a nightmare, but it's misinformation. If it's more clearly signed, honor the trails. I think people would.
So basically, the law is that we can't obstruct the road. The regulations that we have say that snowmobiles are permitted, but again, they share the road. The default is it's a road. And I would want really strong justification to break the law, to kind of
I think I'd use
Risk
that term
safety.
loosely, because we're not breaking the law. I think ultimately this board has discretion over whether or not to follow that statute, is my understanding.
but the law. We would need really, really strong justification to go against it, to go against the law and go against the safety risk of, so what is the justification, right? What is the rationale to have it that can't be solved by signage?
But
David George, president of Scrub Oak Scramblers. The berm is to prevent any vehicle from going on that portion of the road which is considered a snowmobile trail. It is illegal to have a car on a snowmobile trail during snowmobile season, punishable by a $248 fine. If the other section of the road, which is plowed, is considered dual use, which means all vehicles, cars and snowmobiles, are required to do 20 miles an hour to be safe. The other section of the road, as soon as snowmobile season is on us, is essentially closed. A berm or no berm, no emergency vehicle is gonna go through 2 feet of snow to get up there, which is why they have this snow ambulance and a four-wheeler, and every snowmobiler out there would be out there to help if necessary.
But it's not a snowmobile road. We have, I think the first legal opinion at least clarifies that that is not a snowmobile trail. It is,
It is my understanding that we have given access for a snowmobile trail from the bottom, where they turn around plowing, back to the power lines.
that's what the
If that
snowmobile
changes,
ordinance is for.
right, but
I
the,
will do whatever we have to do. That's
but
up
the
to
law
you guys.
supersedes the snowmobile ordinance. The RSA's supersede the snowmobile ordinance.
It's also a road.
Like,
Yeah, on East Shore Drive, which is really what that berm would stop traffic from coming, that's gonna have a natural by plowage, probably 2 to 3 foot high berm that people would not be able to probably butt through and go through deep snow too. On the Cooks Pond turnaround side, the snow machines, they did berm that, but they also pile drive through so a snow machine can get through. A small car can get through there. And they're gonna get all the way up to through the snowmobile trail to the berm and then try and turn around. They'll get stuck probably. It's a nightmare. The bottom line is if you sign it, please honor the snowmobile trails. You don't have to berm anything. There's a natural snowplow berm on East Shore Drive side, which is, I think, a concern. Most people who are way out Lead Mine Road by Cooks Pond know what they're doing unless their GPS misinforms them.
all right.
So I agree with the statement that was made by, what's your name?
David.
David, that yes, in fact, it is a snowmobile trail, but it is also a road. If it's a dual-use road, it doesn't lose its Class 5 status. It's just a shared road, snowmobile.
So you're looking to use that as a Class 5 road with access to automobiles?
No,
Is that what you just said?
no. we're just asking not to berm the road, and people will use their discretion, which they have in the past. Many people with four-wheel drive trucks come up and over. Once the snow machines start, it's usually the person who gets up there is somebody who's on a GPS with a car. They're the ones who get stuck. I think pretty much pickup trucks, etc., with four-wheel drive honor the trail system. You can disagree, but I think that's what happens. And if it's clearly signed, this is a snowmobile trail, please honor it. It will get honored.
Once again, just to clarify everything, we don't put a berm there until the trails are open. So there's no issue.
And the berm
We were asked to take them down, and we did.
berm comes
took
down
them
as
down,
soon as you
just-
guys stop berming?
Yes. I was actually on the phone with an operator as he did it.
All right, I don't want to do the back and forth anymore. Joe, do you want more time with it, or do you want to do something about it?
So can I ask the board to vote on the request to release that legal opinion?
You can ask somebody to make a motion, but it's not a motion that I'm going to make.
I would ask someone to make a motion.
I would like to see a summary of it, and I would be comfortable if we had a summary released that didn't have all the details of the ins and outs of it. So I would make a motion, I guess, to ask maybe Cordell for a summary. And then approve the release of the summary at a later meeting.
I don't understand the objection.
The objection is it's attorney-client privilege, and you set an ugly precedent when you start releasing documents like that. Regardless of its content at this point in time, you're setting a precedent that we will release attorney-client privilege documents later on.
Our question is pretty straightforward, to berm or not to berm.
It
It
is,
really has
but
nothing to do with the snowmobile ordinance. It has to do with berming of the road.
if you're asking my personal opinion, I would not care if you read this document. But I will not second or make a motion to release this document to you based on the precedent it sets for legal opinion.
Well, the precedent was set in January of 2022 when the first legal opinion was released,
That wasn't me,
but the precedent was set.
and I'm
Well, I
unsetting it.
believe the Selectmen Aruda voted to release it, because you were on the board.
Well, the motion's been made to make a summary and release it. Do I hear a second? No second's been made. Joy, would you like more time to look into the berm, or would you like to make a decision on that tonight?
I think it goes against the law, and we don't have sufficient reason to go against the existing RSA's on it.
John, where are you at?
Well, I know where it's gonna go. The berm comes down and we gotta stop plowing. And plowing that road to Cook's Pond from East Shore Drive is a monumental problem.
Is there
Because I-
already a,
Because I know that's what's gonna happen. The condition of that road, is no one should be traveling that road, that section from Cook's Pond to East Shore Drive.
what is the town's current obligation in terms of plowing that?
Obligation is to go from East Madison Road, down Lead Mine, take a right up Black Brook, and you come to Cook's Pond, which is beyond their driveway by a couple hundred yards maybe.
Mhm.
And then there's a turnaround there and they come back out. It allows plowing so that the vehicles can get in and out via East Madison Road.
I am of the opinion that the berm doesn't create a significant safety hazard, and it is our discretion as to whether or not it stays. I think we have a good thing going with them taking it down as soon as they're done, and it only goes up as soon as they start.
Why can't you just sign it instead of burning it?
Because people don't look at signs.
People don't read signs. Take one
Well,
away.
let's
They
take
just
down
don't.
all the stop signs, let's take down all the road time
Yeah.
signs, let's take
I mean,
down
that
all.
doesn't
We gotta
make
try it up at the
sense.
transfer station, where we have 3-foot signs that say no glass here, and glass goes down that chute all day long.
I'm happy to put up more signs, I'm not happy to also take down the berm. I haven't seen it in person either, so I'm reluctant to tell them not to do it until I do. If the berm goes up this winter and I go down and look at it and feel like it's a significant safety issue, then I would reconsider, but as of right now, I can't ask them to not do it without seeing it.
So it is this board that is responsible for allowing the club to burn? Is that how the protocol would go?
It's the snowmobile ordinance in general, so yeah, essentially it is this board.
Yeah.
So you're requesting them to make a berm, or you're allowing them to make a berm?
I'm not requesting them to do anything,
You're allowing
we
them.
are allowing them to do so. Like I said, if they put it up this winter, I will go down and look at it myself, and if I feel like it's a significant safety issue, I'd be happy to reconsider.
It is a safety issue, there's laws against it.
Laws that this board has discretion with, so it's,
You're gonna decide whatever you decide, and that will,
I'm telling you, I don't wanna make a decision without seeing it,
without what?
without seeing the berm itself. I have not been down there in
I
the
have
winter time, I don't
photos.
ride a
I
snowmobile.
have photos.
Got a photo right here.
I don't believe the photos are gonna do it justice, unless somebody wants to make a motion to require them to not put the berm up.
Well, at this point, it's the default that it's the default that it's not allowed. So I say we just stay with the default and come.
Well, the default is the snowmobile ordinance, and this board has allowed it to happen in the past, so they're gonna continue to do it unless we tell them to stop.
The law and the highway ordinance, section 1, supersede the snowmobile ordinance.
That's fine. Marcia?
Can I just ask a question? Why would it be a safety hazard on one end and not the other end? Why wouldn't you have to berm both ends for it not to be a safety issue?
Like I said, I don't travel that road much. I don't know what it looks like. I think I've only been out there twice in the past 5 years. I can't answer that question, and I won't make any decision without seeing
But
the,
it only would make sense if it was a safety issue.
I believe it is bermed at Cook's Pond, is that correct?
There's a berm at Cook's Pond, but then there needs to be a berm on East Shore
And
Drive.
there's one at East Shore Drive, so blocking off that section of road.
No, there isn't.
No, there isn't what?
A berm on East Shore
Berm's at the
Drive.
power line. Second berm's at the
Well,
power
yeah,
line.
East Shore Drive, that entrance from that side.
Right, but that's quite away from the entrance.
Yeah.
So that if you don't want anybody going down that road and you're concerned about safety, you need to berm on East Shore Drive.
We can do that.
I would be willing to put a berm across East Shore Drive.
Because I don't know why,
I
how
wouldn't do that.
Huh?
I say we,
one end and not the other doesn't make sense to me.
I'm just gonna say one last thing. Attorney Goro was very clear that that was an intentional act by allowing the town allowing them to put up a berm. It's an intentional act which opens up liability to the town of Madison, which none of us, everybody included here, does not want. I say you signage, if there's as the gentleman said, if there's a fine fee, you inflict fine. You know, if someone had the pleasure of getting stuck there, you have certainly an ultimate opportunity to make an example of them with fining. So you sign it, you fine it, just like any other road in town, not make it exceptional, and not open up our town to liability.
well, there's no snow on the ground right now. I don't think we need to deal with it tonight. There's been enough back and forth. I will review this again and take a look at it again in a few weeks.
So I just want to say, this has been going on for years and years and years, but of late, we made a request of the police department, we made a complaint in January of this year. And here we are in April, the end of April, and you want to wait?
My understanding is that by the time I received your complaint, the day I received your complaint, granted I do have another job, the day I received your complaint was able to read it as the day they took down the berm. So there was nothing to do
I
from,
made a complaint, we made a complaint to the police department, gave them multitude of documents. I won't recite them now, you know what they are. They bode well for no berm. And they said it wasn't a police matter, they referred it to you. And I've been asking Linda when you're gonna discuss it. And then it went back to the police department for them to retrieve a legal opinion. Come on, do
if you
your
want my
job.
opinion right now,
What?
my opinion right now is that I want to see the berm before I make a decision. Unless the rest of this
We
board,
have photos.
So, but essentially, we agree that the New Hampshire RSA prohibits it. We agree that the town highway ordinance prohibits it. I think we agree that the snowmobile regulation is written in such a way that it would not prohibit it. So we have conflicting regulations. And given that law and one regulation prohibit it, it then becomes a matter of enforcement if it happens. And I think that's the next step for this board to decide, which again may not happen tonight, but that's where I am with it, is that the next step is deciding what to do in terms of enforcement.
okay. Moving on. Status of work to be completed for FEMA. Mr. Brooks has class tonight. Is there anything specifically you wanted us to discuss regarding this that you know of?
Not anything particular, I think.
Yeah.
Summary, just that there is a deadline for things to get completed. We have so much time from when we opened the request.
So we're looking at a summary of work to be completed for the July 16th storm and FEMA reimbursements. We have until March 14th, 2025 to complete this work without requesting extensions. Mr. Brooks is working closely with the DPW to keep all this on track so that we see a reimbursement. I think he just wanted us to have an overview.
Yeah, they've got a long way to go yet.
Yeah, there's still plenty of work to be done. Anything in particular that either of you would like to point out? Or?
Other than the fact we got a lot of it.
I know I saw a list of exactly what sites are being worked on. Where's that in Hook?
It's just beyond that attorney stuff about Lead Mine Road.
Okay, thank you.
We have to when? 25?
March of 25 to complete the work. But my understanding is we do not have to wait until all projects are completed to submit for reimbursement. So as projects are completed, we can decide when and how much to submit for reimbursement.
How is that reimbursement handled?
Well, 75%.
Yeah, but how does it, is it going to the general fund or do we apply it towards work?
No, I think it would just be a reimbursement from to the general
General
fund, from what I
Okay.
gather. Because a lot of the money we'd be getting back is from money that we spent last year.
Yeah.
So,
So the idea is to use it to reduce taxes where we
Right,
couldn't
just-
previously.
So we have until March 14th, 2025 to complete all 4 projects?
That is correct, my understanding of it.
Project 332.
We have the ability to apply for extensions. I think we'll know more in the fall as to whether or not we're going to be able to complete it all. And whether or not we need to apply for an extension.
Josh, are we farming any of this out? Or are we doing it all in-house?
The only thing that we're farming out is that's not even on the list,
Modoc Hill?
the Modoc Hill.
'Cause that was the May 1st
And
one,
then of
right?
course, some of the pavement.
Yep.
MoDOC is listed under Project 4, road washouts and incomplete work, or is that different damage from a different
I think the
storm?
actual damage to the culverts and what we are seeing right now was due to the May 1st storm.
Yeah.
The Modoc Hill washout repair is just strictly the sides of the roads and the gravel we put down fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Because on the July 16th storm, Modoc's culverts didn't actually take as big of a hit.
All right, so the email is only asking about, the FEMA email is only asking about the one project, Project 4.
What's that?
We have an email from Mr. Brooks that he got from the FEMA for the project number 4. He was asked, the FEMA was asking if any mitigation has performed. I don't propose, so they were only asking about that one.
I think it was something that maybe wasn't included in this for some reason.
But they're not asking about anything else, just that one project.
I apologize, I got at the last minute,
Yeah.
Mike was trying to finish up and I was trying to finish up and I didn't get really good details on, or absorb good details on what he was trying to tell me.
Yeah, the subject of the email only references the one project.
I do know Mike has been working really a lot on trying to pull this all together.
Yep, okay, yeah, in his,
And
in
there's
his
a
memo,
lot.
it says that the other projects, he's working on payroll records
Yeah,
and things like that, so.
they're asking for a lot of documents.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Is it the same piece of paper that you guys look at? So project 4 is talking about the status report, so where it says road washouts, incomplete work, it talks about Howard, Downs, East Madison, Goat Hill. Is that the one?
Yeah, it continues on to the second page and includes Maple Grove, Pound Road, and Modoc.
Okay. Gotcha.
Anything else?
No,
On that?
you want to listen to it?
All right, old business, Conservation Commission alternates, I don't believe they've had a chance to meet yet.
No, I'm just leaving it on there.
We'll leave that on there for our next meeting.
Which is Thursday?
Yeah, they need Thursday, yeah. Forest maintenance account funds.
I reached out to Attorney Johnston for an opinion on that, and it's $10,000. There isn't another option for more money short of using the operating budget or the land use change tax account. Those would be the places where the money would come from, anything over the $10,000.
Is there anything in conservation, any other monies they've got that are available?
in their, like, their regular budget.
Well,
maybe?
not the regular operating budget don't amount to anything.
Well, they've got their capital reserve fund, which we can't use without a vote of town meeting. And then I wanna say they have another small, I could be using the wrong one, but like their gift account that had some money in it.
And land use change is only for acquisition?
Actually, I think in here, I gave you the letter from Cordell in 2022 that explained what each one was for.
Do you know how much this is gonna cost?
Well, I did speak to Tim today, because they did the work yesterday and today. And he said it went really smoothly. It took them far less time than they had anticipated, so we thought that the $4,000 estimate would come in well below that, but he doesn't know what the amount is. In our gift account, we used a good percentage of that gift account for an obligation that we had with Green Mountain Conservation for the Davis Pond easement and survey that was done there for that 22 acres that connects to the chain of ponds. So I think there's some money left in the gift account, but I think it's hundreds of dollars and not
Thousands of dollars.
I do believe that there has been some money come in to the land use change tax since we committed the $213,000 to the chain of ponds that would be available. And I don't know how much that is. I don't think, again, it's-
So, back me up just for a minute. How much are we gonna, what is it gonna cost to get the work done that we need to get done?
we don't know, we haven't,
We don't
the
know.
estimate was $4,000, but Tim Nolan seemed to think it would be coming well under that.
Okay.
I'm hoping maybe like 2,500 might be it.
And that-
It's just a guess.
But
That's
just
to
a
do
guess.
the 7 pines and
Yeah.
3 maples, whatever it was.
Right.
Okay.
But, I mean, I'm just guessing, but, you know, he didn't know either because he didn't do the work, but he did say that it was becoming well under.
Okay.
So what did the 6,000 come out of?
Came out of the
That came out of
contracted services line.
Contractor services, DPW contractor services.
Right,
So
that
we're
was the
looking
big
at-
pine tree on the other side of the
Right.
road.
What was the final cost for that?
$6,000.
Huh?
I believe it was $6,000 to the dog.
$6,000?
Yeah.
$6,000?
Yeah.
They weren't there very long.
So we have the 10,000 set aside at town meeting. What's the total in that account?
Like 59,000 or something like that, but we're only allowed to use 10,000 of it this year, up to 10,000 of it, and then whatever's not used goes back into that fund.
Okay, so we don't know how much this is gonna cost, but you had what was the list of things that were going to be done with that 10,000? Is that
Well,
what
mostly
we're?
the legal fees for the chain of ponds.
Okay,
That was another unknown factor, but we thought the 10,000 would give us our normal operating budget, which is around 4,000, I think, and then give us 6,000 for the legal fees. Again, it's all kind of guessing because we don't know what it's going to be. We just knew what our budget was, which I believe was $4,000 is what we had committed to for trail maintenance and maintaining and managing the properties that we have now.
So you
So-
think we'll have a number by our next meeting?
I'm hoping we will.
So, if need be, we can touch the land use change account for their legal fees for the chain of ponds if that progresses.
I believe so, and I personally, by reading Cordell's summary, the forest maintenance account is money that should be used to maintain the town forest. I don't see where legal fees for buying easement on a piece of property we don't own, but that money, some of that
Yeah.
$10,000 would actually be eligible to cover that expense. Because this money in the forest maintenance account is from logging and that kind of thing, the money that was generated from the forest and lands to take care of the forest and lands versus.
And we always did use that account for maybe things that we shouldn't have used it for. We used it as supplement to our operating budget so that we didn't have a big operating budget at town meeting. So we had used that. It was always explained to us, Mr. Johnson, Attorney Johnson has a slightly different opinion that, you know, as long as it was being used for conservation forest maintenance or conservation purposes, that we could use it for that. And if that's changed, then that's changed, but we, you know, we have committed the money, the bulk of the money from the land use change tax, but I do believe some has come in since then, but I don't think it's a very large amount.
If you notice too, Department of Revenue referenced that RSA 31113 that talks about the establishment of that forest maintenance account for the purposes of establishing or maintaining a city or town forest, or a city or town may raise and appropriate such funds as it deems necessary. So the RSA, it's not just necessarily Cordell's opinion that that's how that money should be used. I think the RSA kind of explains how that money is to be used.
So then the legal funds could come out of any of the other ones, because they're all for conservation and land acquisition. But
Right, but we can't get out until town
till
meeting.
town meeting,
Land use change tax, so
And then-
they can use it in town.
and then LUC, the land use change tax, we can, but we just might not have enough. Is that the,
Well, we don't even know what enough is at this point. I think we're
Yeah.
beating a dead horse until we have numbers in front of us.
Right,
Okay.
and I don't know if there's some way you could, I mean, well, no, I couldn't do that, I was just saying maybe we could be lent some money from another account to replace it at town meeting, but of course we can't count on the town meeting vote. So,
Special town meeting, right?
well, you know, but I don't know
Courthouse
if we wanna do
authorized
that.
okay.
All right, well, let's wait and see what we have for numbers in front of us for what we've done so far, and hopefully at some point in the near future have a number on legal fees.
Yeah, but I think that'll be down the road to Tad, but,
Yep.
we certainly can figure something out.
All right, Anfield Hollow bond.
Yep, I talked to Cordell Johnston about that too, and basically where we don't own the roads, we couldn't demand a bond to be placed on them now, as the selectmen. When I say we, I mean you.
Whereas I wasn't here for that, why are we asking for a bond?
Three or four, I think three, of the lots in the development have not been developed.
Okay.
So there's an expectation that there will still be home construction going on for 3 houses and the construction vehicles that would be using the roads that we are now taking over. So it's just a matter of trying to make sure that, you know, we don't take over the roads and then take over the costs of repairs.
So there's a bond on the road right now.
There is that the planning board placed, well, they have a,
I believe the planning board agreed to release it, but it has not been released by Carroll County yet.
the bank hasn't,
The bank hasn't released it,
had
so-
it recorded, so it's not, it hasn't been released legally. There was a request to do it, but nothing's came from that.
And we don't have possession of the roads yet. So there's nothing we can do until we take possession of the
Yeah.
roads.
Okay.
And then at that point, you would have the ability as the select board to require a bond on a road if you feel it's gonna be abused or something
Yeah.
like that. And just the same, even without that bond, if someone ruins the road, you can
You still go
hold them
after.
responsible and make them fix it, so.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've been in there and the roads are terrific shape.
Yes. Yep, they are.
All right, so we consider a bond once we take ownership.
Yeah, I would.
All right. Electronic payment fees. Okay.
So, we have, the paperwork in your signage things tonight to set up the account to be able to put this money into it. I've set up an email address specifically for that.
Great, thank you.
So the background's all good to go. I guess it's more the mechanics and how you're gonna work the fees. I talked with Jordan about what her role would be in taking in this money and having to distribute it. And we, between the two of us, we've come up with a theory of something that comes from rec department, of some sort of a statement that says, you know, we got these are the transactions that happened, and at the end of it say, okay, you know, please deposit $50 in the general fund and $100 in the revolving rec fund with direction specific to how those actions should be taken from somebody rec. And with the with the hope that we could set a date that it would have to be due by, like, so the 10th of the month from the month prior, because when she gets her statements and that kind of stuff from the bank, she'd be able to give her the opportunity to rectify things. Some kind of a agreement to have things done by a certain date, so it wouldn't hold anybody up from performing, making them happen the same month just to make the statements work easier kind of thing for her. But if that kind of stuff can just get hashed out, then I guess the fees is the big question.
Okay. And do we know how much they would charge, just, is it by volume? Like, do they charge you a certain percentage based on volume, or do they, I can't
It's
remember.
usually a percentage of the sale.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a percentage of the
Yeah.
sale. I think for now, we just need to get the square set up and get Heather providing Jordan with a statement on the 10th of every month. And then if we feel like the fees that were being charged by Square need to be accounted for, then we can have a public hearing to adjust our current fees to make up. Because right now, all of our fees that we would be charging have already had their public hearing. We're not gonna charge anything new.
right.
So once we have everything in place and we can see it happening, then we can decide whether or not we need to increase our fees to make up for what we're being charged, and we can hold the public hearing then.
Does the Square, do we have to sign documents with Square, or does
I
it say?
have no idea
Okay.
how it works.
Well, that's why I wanted that email, is because we need a town email to set up the Square account, so we'll have to get, I can get with Heather and get that email and get the Square account going and then go from there.
Yep.
If that works with you guys.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just, yeah, we need to be reimbursed for it, because it's probably gonna run somewhere 3%. And then sometimes there's a ticket charge or a transaction charge, which is a flat rate.
So if that's the case, maybe we have a public hearing that if you pay with, we have a fee for a credit card payment is 3% on top of the original fee, and we put that on our fee schedule that way.
I don't see why not, as long as you
Yeah.
can tell everybody what the.
What do they, like when we pay our card bill online and things like that, what's, how
That
do we
fee
handle
goes
those fees?
directly to the company that does it. We never see that.
Okay, because we use okay.
Right, we charge the, correct, when someone comes up and registers their car, it costs them $100 to register the car. They have to say there's a 3%, there is a convenience fee of 2.95%, and then that is a separate charge that gets, we charge it, but it gets taken by the credit card company.
I believe that Square does also take it out directly.
Over and above or out of
No,
that
no,
amount?
so if we charged someone $600 for, summer camp,
Sure.
that what would get deposited to us would be minus the fee.
Right.
So once we get it set up, we can add that to our fee schedule.
Yeah, they've got different rates, of course, for in-person, online, invoiced, manually entered.
I think we need to get an account with Square up and going and get a terms of service and take a look at it.
Well, is there is Venmo better? Is Square the way to go?
I think Square's
Okay.
probably the best option.
Okay.
Square is, you can do a lot more with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Although the rec website now has a payment option through WordPress now offers a payment option that just popped up like today.
They're listening.
So I will look into that because I would assume we would still need an account to connect and to deposit things into,
Which
but
we'll have after tonight.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
tonight, we'll have an account to attach it to, so.
Cool.
so the website WordPress now has a easy free payment.
But it's not something
free,
that
but-
we could swipe in person though, that's the problem.
You might be able to manually enter it.
Yeah. I'd just as soon have a Square that you plug into a phone and swipe, rather than having to enter it manually. All right, so we'll set up the account and then we'll set up an account with Square,
Yeah.
and then we'll figure out what the fees are and whether or not we need to hold a public hearing to adjust for those. Selectman Gray, do you have a list?
I have no list today.
Mr. Aruda, would you like to tell us all about your trip to Florida?
It was a great trip, only one day of rain, had a good time. Got a tan, feel good. Page not here. Two questions, both for Josh. Did we get a price on a dock for the foot of the lake beach?
Not yet.
Not yet,
We did get one price, but it was ridiculous. It was over $10,000, so
yeah.
I have some
we
information
budgeted
on,
5 for it.
I have some information on that I didn't get to talk to you about. Someone came in today and has a thought on a deck that's a dock that's not being used anymore that potentially the town could have.
Ooh, I
So-
like that price. I'm a fan of
So,
that.
did you hear, Mike tried to find you to explain it, so, but anyway, so there's potential of, we could get a nice gift. So,
That would be good. And the other thing I got again at the transfer station, that big sign that sits on the right-hand side as you come in,
Yeah.
got blown down. Had posts this big around.
Yeah.
It's, we were gonna try, we can't do it up there ourselves. We need-
You want to put back up?
Yeah, we got it leaning against the tree, but if the wind blows really high.
Okay.
And that's all I've got. That's it.
All right, I've been working on doing the infields, and with all the estimates I've got, we need half the material from Burke, half the material from Osbiag, and then we would have to screen it here ourselves. Cost of the material total, with the screen, rental of the screen is $14,886.
And what do we got?
We have roughly 63,000 in that account, and with what the DBW spent on Village Green and the compost, they spent about 12,600. So we would end up spending right around $28,000 out of that account this year if we went forward with the infields. Burke did agree to waive the mobilization fee for the screen as a donation, but still would charge the $600 a day rental, and we'd figured we'd need at least one long day or 2 days to screen it.
Yeah. And who's doing all the work? Volunteers?
Steve Dudley has volunteered to peel the infields and help us pack it. I've got to find somebody, hopefully Gene Shannon will volunteer his roller to pack it once we've got the material down. But myself and Steve are happy to run the screen for a day or two.
Yeah.
It's the material that costs the money.
Yeah.
The labor's free for now.
Yeah.
The softball teams, the men's softball league has agreed to come down and help, and we do it as well.
Now, is this the upper field?
Both
Both fields?
fields.
How is that gonna impact, ball playing?
Provided we do one field at a time, it shouldn't impact it at all. If we can get one field done in a couple of days and then wait a few weeks and do the next field, it really shouldn't, it'll be able to be played on at the moment we're done. As long as we roll it. If we don't roll it, then you've gotta wait for it to pack itself, and that's a nightmare, so hopefully I can get a roller in here.
Yeah.
And what's the timeframe you're thinking?
I don't have one yet.
Okay. But the fields would only be out of commission for the couple of days it takes to do the work?
And it would be only one field at a time. And I will do my best, provided you guys are okay with me going forward, I will do my best to coordinate with what Mike has for a schedule as far as field usage and avoid disrupting anything major.
Yeah. We've got the money to do the work, work needs to be done. We haven't spent anything on that field in a long time.
Other than what DBW spent so far. aerating and overseeding and
Yeah,
composting.
yeah.
But, yeah, we haven't done anything in a while.
Prior to this year, did nothing.
And this and what they're doing now is exactly what we raised that money for, so.
You wanna start this ASAP?
I'd like to. I have a set of anchors upstairs that I'm probably gonna put in the upper field within the next week so that Cal Ripken can use that field. They went to 70-foot bases. So we're gonna put the anchors in until I can coordinate all this, and then once we peel it, I'll pull them out and put them back in after we're done. But I would like to do it as soon as we can. It would be nice to have it done before the season's over so somebody can enjoy it.
That sounds good. I mean, we have the money. You're
Yeah.
saving a ton of money with manpower.
The problem I ran into is that True Green no longer makes the mix that was used prior, and Burke can't get his hands on enough material to make it himself without trucking it out of Osbiag himself, and it didn't make much sense to truck it all the way to Burke to screen it, just to have Burke truck it all the way back here.
All the way back.
So if we just screen it ourselves, it saves us some trucking money, as much as I don't want to sit out there and run a screen for 2 days.
Does it happen during summer camp? You just have the kids do it?
Yes. Yep.
You can coordinate it with, when we screen our sand. Like, I don't know if it's the same screen or not.
It might be.
We gotta screen a few thousand yards of sand, and all back again for winter sand, so we do it at the same time, get screened here, we can do it.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, we're talking, we need to mix, where'd it go? 3, 4, 5. I think it's 650 yards total, 325 yards of silt, 325 yards of sand, mix them together.
Easy peasy.
Well, we should draw this up on a purchase order.
Yep. I can get it all on paper. I just want to make sure you guys are good with it.
Yep, sounds great.
We draw it up, we can sign it out of session and can move it along.
The only variable is how wet the silt may or may not be, so we may need an extra load of silt based on how wet it is my understanding, but it'll be, like I said, between $15,000 and $16,000.
Can you draw up that purchase order?
I'll work with you. It's, like I said, half of it's coming from Osbiag, half of it's coming from Burke. So, and I need a good solid place to put it all.
Josh, you have the screen in-house now, or?
No, we haven't got it yet, so it might work out.
Yep.
Good.
Perfect. That's it for me. Linda, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Just before you leave this section, I had one thought on the legal fees. I'm assuming that we would send the finished document to our town attorney to look at it.
Yep.
And I don't know if he feels that his retainer is enough to cover that, or if he would need additional money to review that. And so that might give us some clue as to what the legal fees were going to be.
We can look into it.
So if you just ask him, I think he's done it before, what the average easement costs for his review would be, we'd have an idea of what legal costs would be.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Will you guys be revisiting the snowmobile ordinance in its need of revision?
I
It's
think,
sending,
yeah.
people are confused.
yeah, if nothing else, to make them consistent. Yep.
Thank you.
Josh?
And I actually had a question first, when you're going back to Banfield Hollow. You're gonna see if to bond the roads, or have them bond the roads before we take them, or after we take them, rather, after we take ownership?
After we take ownership to protect the roads for those 3 lots that still need to be built on.
Yeah.
So actually, so kind of to your point, like, do we need the bond in place before the transfer happens,
Well,
right?
the bond's in place now, I guess, right?
It is.
From the planning board.
The planning board has withdrawn it or has
The
released
planning
it?
board agreed to release it, but the bank has not yet done so.
So, well, the reason I'm asking is, so there's just 3 lots that are unbuilt out there. And have we ever asked before to bond a road that we've taken?
How many developments have we?
I don't believe so.
We didn't
And
bond Peak Vista.
We didn't?
We did.
No. And I know, we're talking about, because there's 3 lots unbuilt out there. I mean, there's lots all over town that are unbuilt. Do we have to bond? If we start bonding roads where regular construction is taking place, I think that sets a precedence, that.
I mean, some
And
of
we
the.
tried to do it before with a logging operation, and we actually got our butts handed to us when I was on board. You can't bond every road that the town owns because they're doing a construction job on it. Or there's unbuilt houses on it. If you do it for one road, why aren't we doing it for everybody?
I don't know if this is a unique situation because we're taking on an entire subdivision that was done by a developer. And the agreement, I believe, was that the developer would, deed them to the town once the development was done.
don't look at me, I voted no.
Yeah, I did too. So that's what I'm saying. I just think we're gonna start bonding every time somebody puts out, we do bond class 6 roads because we can't do any work. You have to. But
I don't think this is too common a situation,
no. Well, it is. We have taken on roads before.
but like
Yeah.
a specifically developed by a developer community.
Mm-hmm. 3 of them?
Yeah. I just think it would set a bad precedence. And why are you doing the bond? You're doing it because there's 3 empty lots? I'm just asking.
Yeah, damage to the road, but like Linda stated earlier, we don't need the bond to
Somebody damages a road.
go after somebody for damaging the road. Yeah, I mean, it's town property and they damage the road, they're liable to fix
Right.
it, regardless of a bond.
Okay. If it's covered,
But-
it's covered.
And then you get a bond, and then how do you prove that
They did it.
who did that damage?
Yeah. Good point.
That's why there's a bond.
Yeah, but how do you prove who pays who pays the bond? Who's putting up the bond? Is it like a HOA or the owner of the, who owns the
Yeah.
road now?
Is it the developer?
Right now, the HOA still owns the road.
Norton.
Or, no, the developer still owns the road.
I'm sorry, I just.
You're good.
Over the last couple of weeks, obviously, we've been chipping brush. And our chipper, the clutch, we blew the clutch out of our chipper. It's gonna cost about $1,000 here. We're still waiting on it. Had to rent, different, and we can't even rent them now. They're all rented out. We had to rent one from Lucy Lumber for 3 days last week. That was $1,000 just to rent that for 3 days. And I'm not gonna rent it another one till we get ours fixed. I don't know when that's gonna be. So people that are asking that we're gonna get their brush, we will get it eventually, but give us some time. That big tree we took down on Lead Mine, the big one. We swept all the roads, all the paved roads have been swept.
East Madison's looking very good.
Yeah, it's getting there, slow but sure. We did call to the guardrails on King Pine Road. If they're old and feeble, we're waiting for a quote on getting just when you start up King Pine Road, there's just 2 old wooden guardrails, and we got a quote to get those replaced. Or we haven't got the quote yet. We put in for Vermont. We got a grant money last year to fix guardrails, and this is the perfect opportunity to do that. The ball fields were seeded. They put 200 pounds of seed, aerated both ball fields, and put 200 pounds of seed down, and then we spread the compost over that. They're gonna come back, I don't know if it's this week or next week or soon as we get the compost spread, to put another 200 pounds of seed over the. We ordered and took delivery of all the culverts to replace on Mooney Hill that we need to replace for the job and that's out to bid. We've put that out to 4 different companies, R&D Paving, Bryant's Paving, Pike Industries, and Allstate Asphalts have all come up to look at Mooney Hill to get in. So your next meeting in 2 weeks, those sealed bids are due by then. So you'll be opening sealed bids next 2 weeks from today. Done some servicing on the trucks. We obviously started removing the plow equipment off the trucks. Hopefully we're not going to be using those again this year. Obviously cleaned East Madison Road. We cleaned the Historical Society today, picked up the brush. There was a lot of trees on the roof on the back. We got those down.
Is West Shore done yet? Cause that was a lot of work to be done.
It's not, and that's one we get to the point now where it's, we might just take the excavator out and start picking up some of the brush, but that's one, when we get our chipper fixed or get a chipper, that's gonna be one of the first ones to get done, but it's not done yet.
Overwhelming amount of work, I'd say, on that one.
Yeah.
It's like driving through a war zone.
Yeah. Not as bad as 153 though, in Freedom, that's pretty bad. We've graded Maple Grove, Old Colony, Lead Mine, as far as Cook's Turnaround. We spent I think 2 or 3 days out there on just Lead Mine, trying to get that open and cleaned up.
Did a good job.
Thank you.
You did some crowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
job.
We also put 7 loads of gravel,
Yeah.
crushed gravel in there.
Good job.
We did put some dust control out on Maple Grove too, in front of the houses and whatever. Patched a bunch of potholes on East Madison and Forest Pines. We got most of the brush off all the cemeteries. Want to make sure those are up and going for, looking good for Memorial Day weekend. I did get a call from, I guess, Fidium Internet. They're gonna start putting in the fiber optics, I guess, pretty quick. And they asked if they could put their Connex on our property, either probably up here or maybe the lower garage where they keep the fiber optics and all that. I didn't have a problem with it. They're gonna call ahead of time to see where to put it. We'll make sure it's not in the way of screening sand or whatever, but somewhere up here. So I would say they're gonna be here for an extended period of time. They're bringing up a 40-foot Connex.
Did they give you a timeline, a map, any kind of plan?
I get it, but if they're bringing up that amount of equipment, I would say they're gonna be quite a while. They said they're gonna start within the next 2 weeks. They're gonna be bringing it up.
And at this point, it's just that piece of it, or are they gonna start like digging trenches to put stuff in or run into wires, like if they,
I don't know.
Nothing yet? Okay.
I don't know.
have they contacted the town at all about?
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
one of the guys, he's kind of, every once in a while, sends a little email.
Okay. I think I speak for nearly every resident in town saying, hurry up,
Yeah.
get fiber in.
Well, up on Allard Hill, they already have it because they're out of Conway,
Yep.
and I've heard good things.
Yeah, and I think it's coming down through Edelweiss, like that direction, towards here.
Oh, one other thing, the lawnmower. I don't know if you guys saw that purchase rec. Our lawnmower is 16 or 17 years old. I think we figured out we were down. It was down. It exploded last summer. I used my lawnmower for a month or so. Anyways, we found one in there. It's got the one we have. It's still working, but it's on its last legs, and I really don't want to be down a lawnmower. We got a lot of grass to mow when it comes time, and you see a purchase work in there. There's one at MB Tractor. I can't remember, it was like $4,800 or something like that. Really need a new lawnmower. It's got a 42-inch deck, and that helps us get in between the headstones and stuff at cemetery a little better. Just appreciate it if we can get that.
We got a new guy on the department?
Yeah, I got a new guy, and he's working out fantastic. He hustles. he's definitely a big help.
Yeah, good.
In terms of the equipment, is, lawnmower, chipper, are those type of things tracked in iWork?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have, can we pull a report? Because I think that even tracks maintenance, it tracks like when the larger trucks are due for an oil change type stuff, right? It can, I know it's in the town report, but do you have like a current report that you could pull with the?
I'd have to ask Dave, does
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Okay.
Dave, and I don't know why he's not here tonight. He was trucking today, so. But yeah, he takes care of all that stuff, and I'm sure he can pull reports on all that stuff.
Yeah, it includes how much we've spent on maintenance, how
Yeah.
old things are, all
It
that.
even comes, I've seen him do it, and it comes up, it tells you, when it's like red, green, and yellow, when you should replace the trucks, and when, they're overdue. It's kind of depressing looking at it, really, so. I mean, our chipper's a 1988, and the clutch hasn't been changed since 1988. It's the original clutch.
So we did pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. It's a good rate.
Anything else, Jeff?
Nope.
Heather?
Softball is going. We have 2 softball teams. We have a grades 4 through 6 and grades 2 and 3. The grades 2 and 3 is brand new this year. They had their first practice yesterday, and they are so excited to have their chance, and so that's been fun. T-ball is on their second week of practices. And they have 2 teams of 10 each. So there's a lot of kids that want to play T-ball. Yeah.
What's the total head count between sports?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that. So 20, almost 30.
30.
No, more than that, because you got 4
Almost
teams.
60.
Yeah,
Wait, what'd you say?
all teams.
Right, so
T-ball.
20 girls softball,
Yep, 20 kids T-ball.
8 on the other softball team,
Oh, so almost 50.
and then 20 on the T-ball. So I was right.
Almost 50.
Bravo.
Thank you. But yeah, oh yeah, it's awesome.
I would put in
Summer-
a plug for that again, because even for basketball, you get 60 kids. For this, you've got 50.
I can't say no.
And no, it's fantastic, because there are just over 100 kids at the elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
and consistently every
yeah.
season,
Yeah,
half of them
Yeah.
are in rec sports.
yep,
So
definitely.
kudos, rec
Yeah.
director.
Yep, thank you.
And how many kids for summer camp?
Summer camp, woohoo! Yeah, summer camp is really doing well already. Registration's been open, I think, almost a month, if not a month. And we are full for 2 weeks out of 8 weeks already. So
And that's with
Yeah.
4 full-time.
we have 4
counselors.
full-time counselors, 2 part-time, and me as a backup. And we are looking to get CITs, volunteer CITs that would come and help the counselors.
And that's,
they're
those are
excited too.
kids going into 8th grade.
Yeah. And so we're having them write a little essay as part of their,
Application process.
earning their spot as a CIT. So they're all writing little essays about why they think they would be a good candidate for helping out with summer camp and some of their experience that they may have. And it's really cute, it's really sweet, to see it,
Yeah.
give them some responsibility of, this is what you gotta do to earn your job. And then, so summer camp's good, we've been booking, field trips already, we're trying to do a field trip every Friday. Mondays and Wednesdays are Silver Lake Beach Day. Everyone's really excited about that. We have a lot of newcomers to camp this year that have never signed up ever before, which is, I think, why we're filling up so fast this year. It's great.
And if you add another counselor, would you open it up to more kids?
I feel like we're getting to that point, yes. Yep. So,
Next year.
yeah.
It's not in the budget this year.
Well, no, the swim instructor pieces.
Oh, yes, so swimming lessons, our swim lesson instructor is almost done with her certification. She will be doing summer camp swim lessons on Wednesdays, and we are hoping to open up to the rest of the town children on Tuesdays. Don't quote me yet, but we are working on it, yes. So she is open to both days, and we already talked about if those fill up, maybe offering the Thursday as well, because she works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So those would be her 3 days that she could do lake days, you know. And I would go with her to help with that as needed. So
And the head count that we're saying is closed is 40 coming?
there's 40 a day, a week, yep.
Wow.
And we've already done that for 2 weeks out of the summer already. Yeah.
Treat her well, the surrounding towns are looking for swim instructors.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, we got her.
Yeah.
We got her good. But yeah, she's really excited too, so it's good.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it though. We don't have any big events coming up yet. We're working on a dance. The rec and the Madison PTO are trying to get together on something, pulling it together kind of last minute, but trying to scrounge for something. We talked about a square dance. So we'll see. They've all been learning square dance at school, so maybe that, like an end of the year add on. We'll see. But yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just talking about the lake, I've been asked like 6 times today, I'm sure everybody's at, but the dock at the boat launch is going in Thursday morning. The lake is supposed to be up to level on May 15th. We put one board in yesterday to start raising it. It will be, we're gonna put 2 more into, we're just gonna put both in tomorrow. The people that are putting in their docks, it's a lot easier to put in your dock when the water's down. And it's down right now, it's gonna be going up by May 15th, so you got 2 weeks to get your dock in shallow waters.
Good idea.
And the town dock will go up tomorrow, Thursday morning.
Awesome.
All set, Heather?
Outhouses,
Yeah.
the other way?
Yeah, it started is May when they start coming.
Okay.
What's that?
Porta potties.
Oh,
Outhouses.
one more thing. We're looking for a possible tent. I should probably go into more detail. The school gym is unavailable for the whole summer. So summer camp needs to figure something else out when it comes to shelter. Heather Woodard, the principal, is definitely working with me to figure out a couple classrooms that we could use, but you know, it's not the same as like the gym.
Why is it unavailable?
They are repairing, replacing
The heating system.
heating system, adding air conditioning. So like next summer it'll be amazing, but this summer it's like,
I heard the prices were offering up their house to summer camp for when the gym is closed,
okay,
right?
there we go, yeah.
Have at it, I'm
Yeah.
not home during the day.
So, I mean, when it comes to like a summer thunderstorm, we're gonna need the classrooms, but we'll, even just for some shade and, I don't know, in between activities, to have a nice big like event tent of some sort.
I think the town owns a tent, don't they?
Old
Old-
Home Week owns a few.
Old Home Week owns a few, 3 of them. 2 smaller ones and then the larger one.
I don't know if
Putting
there's
them up isn't
space.
easy.
Right, that's the other thing, yeah.
And I think you need one a little bit smaller than what they have if you're gonna do it between the 2 fields, because you can't do it on the field because
Right.
we're still using them
Right.
during
For
summer camp.
softball, right.
So it have, in those tents, I'm not driving stakes into the gravel.
Right, it would
But
almost
whatever
have
you
to
do
be up
has
by
to-
the basketball courts, is that what?
Whatever you do
Where
has
else
to
could
be
it
able to
be?
house 40 kids and 5 adults.
Right, 40 kids,
Adults.
And even if you use Old Home Weeks, they're gonna need theirs by the second week of August.
unless they use them where they are, wherever that is.
Right.
Save the field. I don't know.
You don't have to tell me about saving the field, but that's not gonna happen.
Right.
They're gonna want where they always
So
go.
that's the little predicament that keeps me up at night, is what we're gonna do about that
8 weeks.
for 8 weeks, right?
Speaking of that,
Town garage.
I don't care.
Yay!
when Old Home Week does come along, seeing how we are putting all this money into the ball field, I don't know how we do it, but we might wanna think about not parking. That's what's killing that field,
Yeah.
is
Yep.
all the vehicles driving
Yeah.
across it. I don't know how we do it. I know it's gonna really make some people angry, but that being a parking lot during Old Home Week is terrible for that field.
When is it used, the drive-in and kind of events when,
It's used every day during Old Home Week.
Yeah.
It's used for the car show, it's used for
Fireworks
fireworks,
night.
it's used for,
Illuminating.
you know, for handicap parking.
But you're right, we're putting all this time and money into it, we should start protecting it a little bit.
Especially see it driving, probably mowing it and stuff, I mean, there's still dually wheel tire tracks out there from last
Oh,
summer.
it doesn't
you know,
take
and-
much to
Yeah.
destroy it.
Have to go back to the beach.
Get your sticker.
So if anybody knows of a tent,
Yes, so that's we're looking for a tent,
to house 40 kids and 5 adults.
yes. So like an event tent. And a place to put it, really, also.
behind the school, on their upper field.
Yep, that is in my head, yep.
They love us,
The
they
only,
would do it.
the thing is though, that gym, I mean, the outside too, it's all of it that's getting done. So
Is the playground gonna be
they are
available?
like shutting it down, the entrances, all of it is a no-go.
Is the playground still going
The
to be
playground
available?
may not even be partial. Yeah.
And there's summer enrichment program all
Yeah.
summer,
Yep.
4 days
Oh
a
yeah, I
week
mean, the
till noon.
inside building, we would be sharing with, right, summer enrichment program, there's an ESY program, so we would be the third program in the building. Also, while the janitors need to do their normal summer stuff, all the furniture comes out usually, the hallways are packed. I mean, it's not ideal for anybody, but it'll be nice next summer.
Can you discuss with Heather the option of putting a tent up
Yeah.
back there?
Yep. I didn't know if anybody, yeah, so I mean, does the town, that was the question, right, do we have any here
Just
that
the
we
old
can
Home Week
use?
ones.
And they're okay to use, or no,
Have
because
to
they'll
discuss
need them,
with the old Home Week
Yeah.
committee.
yeah,
I don't have that name tag on tonight.
right. Okay.
Is our meeting tonight?
No, there's a baseball game I'm trying to get to though.
Oh geez.
Chief?
I won't stand in your way. 40 pounds of drugs we took back on the drug take back day this past weekend. That was the big thing of note over the last couple of weeks. Tomorrow's May 1st, so get your sticker. Parking enforcement officially begins tomorrow. In case anybody forgets their sticker and they get a ticket, and they attach another little happy note of why or what they think of the policy, the sticker, the police department, and me in particular. I do keep a running file of those, so it is pretty interesting. So,
Your love
and get your
notes.
boat launch sticker too.
Love notes.
They are love notes, yes. Yep, they are definitely love notes.
All good?
That's it.
Signature items?
Yes. There's the first view.
There's two on that one file.
There's signature cards in there for those new, the general fund, we needs your signature, and I also, your
License.
license and everything has to go in there too.
Is in the car.
That's fine,
Yeah.
and then no rush.
You want me here?
Yes, please.
I can go with me at all times except
I think that's just you on that.
That bottom one's everybody.
Did you need to sign this one, John?
Huh?
Did John need to sign that cover page?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I gotta sign
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's just a summary saying that you all agreed to have them take care of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's our annual, we get that every year. It actually went down. from last year. It's a little lower than 7.
Yeah, wasn't it 9,000 last year?
I think it was like, I want to say it was 7,900 last year, and it's not quite that much. Did I not put the sticker on? I'm sorry. It's
I'll find
kind
it
of towards
out.
the front.
Can't work without direction. Is this me?
I think that's it.
So just me?
Oh,
Probably better off if you put in my name and title, because they won't be able to read it if I do
yeah,
that.
I'll fill
That one's all set, yeah.
That's all set.
in. Those might be your appointment. Oh, no, sorry. There's several in that pile. But one of them is your appointment. 2 of them.
Oh,
So pay attention.
Yeah. I think you had to scribble your own name on that one, yeah.
Yep, I already did that once.
So I think John will sign that one, and then
Yeah,
it might just be John on the,
this is me, so yeah.
yeah.
So, no, I don't want to tear them apart.
It's okay, you can go, it's fine.
This one's just you.
just for me?
John, I
Yeah.
think you need to sign this one too.
Hey,
Done.
I'm not out of rhythm.
I'm not signing that one.
Handwriting, by the way.
Huh?
Beautiful handwriting, by the way.
I'm not
Actually, my
signing
dad had
that.
beautiful handwriting, mine sucked next to his. Yeah.
That one I crossed myself out on, and I didn't sign that one because I shouldn't.
So this one just needed Adam's signature, then?
Yes,
Yep.
this is Dan Tech one.
Yeah, remind me?
That's the monitoring at the transfer station. We
Thank
have
you.
that same contract every year.
Thank you.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask when he's gone.
Yeah, it was the best line that we
Okay.
can think to take it out of. Yeah, there isn't enough in there to cover it, but it was coming out of the parking lot that way.
Just have to pay attention otherwise.
Yeah, it's ultimately that bottom
The
line.
bottom
in the,
line.
warrant articles.
Yep.
I think I got it all.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. We give Josh a hard time for buying something that wasn't green and yellow.
Yeah, huh?
Don't worry, I gave him a hard time earlier.
Did you? I remember once I was on, Billy Chick was head of the highway department. And he wanted a new tractor. And a Cub Cadet came in cheaper than the line. I voted him, he was, oh. Sit down, Bill. I said, your blood runs green.
So is my barn.
Huh?
So is my barn. Everything in the barn.
Green and yellow.
Oh. But Everything in mine was red. I'm all red. You know why they're painted green, don't you?
Why?
So you can't see them when the grass grows up over them in the field.
There was something small.
Now I got 2 for Josh tonight.
There you go, yeah.
I mean, grass.
All right, with that, we will enter non-public session per RSA 91A 3(2) c matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of the public body itself, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. Roll call vote.
Do I roll call this? Because this is about me,
Right.
sort of.
Crud.
First time that's ever happened, probably. I would think no.
No. Joy?
Aye.
Adam, aye.
I abstain.
John will recuse himself.
But to clarify, it's not in your capacity as a public official. It's as an employee.
As an employee.
Yes, just want to clarify for the record. Because it goes public